Hey everybody, guess what? We are back. This is African Frame Podcast. I am with Rob Sibeko, a writer, a director, a world builder. He's currently actually helping me out with my comic book. We hope to get that done this year still. Anyway, guys, if you're new, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon so they can get notified of anything that Rob and I might be talking about in the future. Anything film related, series related, film reviews, box office predictions, box office results, things of that nature. So if that's your cup of tea, do share this information to anybody else who might also like this kind of content. But anyway, I am Mr. Extrodin. I guess you could say, a comic book writer. I'm a character designer, graphic designer by profession, and all of that. I don't think I've ever said that in a lot of our introductions. So if you ever wondered what I do, I'm basically like a producer. Yeah, to break it down. But anyway, today we're gonna be doing a film of someone who's quite controversial, I would say, in the world, liked by some, hated by some. It's a movie called The Apprentice, which basically just details the life of a younger Donald Trump. I guess you could say it's the rags to riches story, not necessarily rags because he grew up pretty decently well, but from a business point of view, I guess you could say he comes up from someone who didn't really know much about certain things and is basically mentored by someone else who basically teaches him the ropes, and he becomes a much better individual as the story progresses. So, yeah, the movie came out in 2024 and it stars Sebastian Stan as Donald J. Trump. Um, and it also has, what's this guy's name again? Is it Jeremy Strong?
Yeah,
Yeah, it stars Jeremy Strong as
Raycon.
Roy Cohn, who was an American lawyer and prosecutor known for his role as Senator Joseph McCarthy's chief counsel during the Army McCarthy hearings in 1954. It also has Maria Bakalova as Trump's first wife, Ivana, and it has Martin Donovan as Fred Christ Trump Sr. So that's basically pretty much the main cast of this film. And then it was directed by Ali Abbasi and also written by Gabriel Sherman. So yeah, that is the movie. So the movie had a budget of 16 million and it made 17.3 million at the box office. So it was definitely a dud. That's for sure.
Well, most biopics are, that's for sure. But yeah, they felt the need to make this movie, definitely. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, but we'll get into it.
All right.
Anything
So
else?
I think just one piece of trivia would be that Sebastian Stan was given some prosthetics to, look a bit bigger than he actually is.
Yeah,
But yeah, apparently none of that actually worked. So he was eating a lot of ramen noodles, like just before they started filming, like a couple of days
McDonald's.
before they started filming. And yeah, he gained a few pounds for the role.
I'm surprised you didn't just give him McDonald's. That would have done the job. That would
Yeah,
have done the job fully.
that is very, very true. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people know Sebastian Stan. I think we've mentioned this before when we're covering the Thunderbolts. The Sebastian Stan, for me personally, he has done a lot of great projects. I spoke about Pam and Tommy before, the one with Seth Rogen in it, basically just detailing the life of Pam Anderson and Tony Anderson at the
Yeah.
time, and sorry, Tommy Lee, when they were married, and there was a whole sex tape thing. He was also in um, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, as the Winter Soldier, also in Civil War, a few Avengers movies. He was also in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was in The Martian, you know, to name a few. He was also in I, Tonya. So that's the kind of guy he is, man. He's very, very busy, I guess you would say. And I think he's good at avoiding to be typecast.
But at the same time, he hasn't reached that higher level because of it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Seems
But
to
I guess maybe he's gonna end up being like the Tucci's of this world instead of being like a Brad Pitt.
like a character actor. I also feel like he hasn't sunk in there as well. Because again, Stan Tucci as a thing. Gary Oldman is a thing. Edward Norton is a thing. I feel like he hasn't really. Don't get me wrong, he's a great actor. Like he does a great job even here, in this movie. I like what he does here. I don't know why he just doesn't have that X factor. Like,
But wouldn't you say his role as the Winter Soldier was impeccable?
let's consider what he actually had to say in that movie.
Well, he doesn't speak. He doesn't speak. He doesn't speak much in the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's not enough.
But he had a huge impact, though, in the culture with that role.
Of course he did. Of course he did. But so did Hobbs. But that doesn't mean like you're not there yet. There's something missing there, man. No one's gonna spend like $500 million to spend to watch him. That's the problem.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, by the way.
That's such a shame because I think he's a great actor. I think he does a good job here. I mean, I think he probably made enemies with this one.
Oh, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like he could. I haven't checked. I mean, it's something that you and I have discussed, I think, briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But that we should check the people that are going to be nominated for the Academy Awards. But personally, I think he should have been nominated for this role. Because to me, it doesn't feel like an impersonation. It just feels like
Golden Globe
for this role.
He definitely won a Golden Globe. I just don't know if Ross.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Shit. Okay.
I didn't know that at all.
I'll tell you now, because I know it's for 2 Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it won a Golden Globe. I think I don't know if it was for this though. Okay. He nominated for Best Performance in a Male Picture. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, 2 Golden Globe nominations.
Oh, he got a Golden Globe for A Different Man.
Okay, there we go.
But then he got Best Actor.
Yeah, he's not
for The Apprentice in films. The Film Critics Association in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, but no, he's got an Oscar nod. He might win.
He's got an Oscar nod.
Yeah. Best performance by an actor in a leading role.
No, I personally believe that he deserves that nod. I think the other person that I genuinely think deserves an Oscar nod is Florence Pugh for her performance in We Live in Time, but I don't know if that's the case here.
I'm gonna argue with you on one level. I don't think he needs to. He can win the Oscar. I mean, unless everyone around him is terrible this year.
Who's that? You mean who's Sebastian Stan?
Yeah. Now,
you disagree with me on the performance?
No, again, I think he did great, but to cross over to the line of Oscar, I don't think he did.
All right.
I personally think that's the director's fault, not his.
Right.
I just don't think he crosses over to winning. Nomination, sure. I think he had a nice nuanced role on Trump. He wasn't the cartoon character, you know what I mean? You had Shane Gillis type stuff.
Right.
But I just don't think it was. I don't think this is a good movie, and I don't think it's a good spirited movie. So I think.
I think that's where you and I disagree, but please go on.
I think that impacts the quality of his role. Like I think there's inconsistencies in the performance, not our performance, but in the character, that I think cheat the performance. Because remember, and I think an actor is only as good as his director. So I think there were some character mistakes and writing mistakes that kind of crossed him off from winning an Oscar. In fact, I think if he wins an Oscar, it'll be because of the divisiveness of the movie that he won the Oscar, not for the actual performance itself.
Do you disagree with him being a nod for the Oscar?
Again, nomination, 100%. I think he actually deserves one because he managed. I think he did a really good job.
For this role, though, like we have to be specific. Do you think he deserves a nod for this role?
Yes, for this role, playing as the chubby, awkward mess that is the character in this movie. I think he does a great job.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not enough to win. I refuse to believe he'll win off this. That means everyone else was garbage, including what's his face, Ralph Fiennes, and I can't believe the idea that Ralph Fiennes. I'm assuming Ralph Fiennes was the one who was nominated for.
Is this the movie where he bulked up? Where Ralph Fiennes bulked up?
No, you're thinking of Conclave. Conclave got an Oscar nod as well.
Oh, it was Conclave. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, no, I thought it was something else. So Adrian Brody, he won for The Pianist before.
Oh yeah.
And he was very young. Apparently, he's one of the youngest male leads to
I
win.
think Timothy Chalamet should be up as well for his Bob Dylan role, even though it really should be for June. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, Adrian Brody is a great actor. Ralph Fiennes is a great actor. I still have to watch Sing Sing, so I don't know about Coleman Domingo.
I don't know either.
Discussion. I think it really is between Timothy Chalamet, Ralph Fiennes, and Adrian Brody. I think that's what it's, because those are the legends. And it's so funny, this man being so young and already being in the legend status. Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. In my opinion, I would take out Timothy Chalamet, and I would replace him with Sebastian Stan.
Hey, dog, I think people are gonna fight you on that one because apparently I haven't seen it myself yet. I plan on watching it eventually. But I'm not that big a fan of biopics, but apparently the conversion is outstanding.
Well, I mean, it's just my opinion. I haven't seen the movie as well.
Same, yeah.
I haven't seen the movie as well, but personally, as I think we've spoken about this before, I haven't been impressed by anything that Timothy Chalamet has done so far, and only because I've seen him maybe in one movie, which was that movie directed by, who's this guy? That movie about, well, it was sort of like an allegory for
the gay one.
The pandemic.
Not the gay one.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The one where what's this lady's name? One of the best female actresses of all time. What's her name again? Meryl Streep. She's a president.
She's the president.
Yeah.
Chalamet. Yo, you got me confused.
Bruh, there's in that movie there's Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, there's Tyler Perry.
The Big Short director. Oh, that fucking movie. I haven't seen it myself, but okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So a comedy was the last time you enjoyed this man?
No, I didn't enjoy him in it. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't do anything for me. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam McKay. That's the guy I was referring to. So yeah, that I think it's called Don't Look Up. Yeah, Don't Look Up. That's the movie. Anyway, I just want to say something before we get into this movie. So, Kieran Culkin?
Yeah, Kieran Culkin, yes.
He's nominated for his performance in A Real Pain. I watched The Real Pain recently. I think it's one of the movies that I'll cover in the weekly picks.
I was thinking of covering it as well, so that's good. You should definitely cover it.
No, I mean, we can cover the movie together. Is that not allowed?
No, it's not allowed.
Okay, so wait, did you watch the movie?
No, but I did archive it. So I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if I'm going to watch it this week.
Okay.
So I think you'll be safe.
All right, cool.
If I do end up watching it later, I might pick it, and then we might have two different reviews from different days.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. So he's impeccable in this movie, so that he deserves a nomination actually for that role. But anyway, the other two people that I just want us to go through quickly, it's Maria Bakalova, who plays Ivana in this movie.
Yeah.
I really loved her performance in this movie. I don't want to lie. I mean, she's currently in Creature Commandos, funny enough. And she voices Cosmo the space dog in Guardians of the Galaxy. So clearly James Gunn loves working with her, right?
Yes.
That's definitely something.
It's more people than Christopher Nolan does at this point.
Yeah. She's also in Women Do Cry. She's in The Last Call. She's in The Father. she's in transgression. So she is definitely someone to look out for. It's not bad looking whatsoever, and she's quite busy. If I'm being completely honest, like she's been like really at it since like 2017.
Seems to be pushing, even though I don't know what any of this shit is. Like all of these names are like, what is this? What is this? What is
Yeah,
this?
I mean, she has films already scheduled for this year. The Bad Guys 2, O Horizon, and Mayday. Right.
She was in Borat.
She was in Borat, bro.
What?
Pardon?
Okay, I think I see her. Okay. She was in
Yeah.
Borat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she was really good in this film. Anyway, and then we have Jeremy Strong. Jeremy Strong was in Succession. He was also in The Gentleman. I remember his role in The Gentleman.
Yeah.
He was also in the Trial of Chicago 7, The Armageddon Time. Yeah, he's quite a dramatic actor for sure.
Hey, look, Ollie's Game. I don't remember him.
He was in Zero Dark 30. He was also in Lincoln.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch that movie just to see if I can find him.
Yeah. So seems like he chooses his work very carefully.
Ah, look at that. There's The Big Short. So that director of yours is there as well.
Adam McKay, yeah. Are we calling him my director now? Yeah, he was also in The Judge. So
as the younger brother or something?
I'm not
sure. So is he?
Well,
Yeah, that was Tommy Lee Jones, not Tommy Lee Jones. What's his face?
Yeah, he played the younger brother. He played the main character's developmentally disabled younger brother with an autistic. Yeah. So he spent some time with an autistic man. So it seems like he's quite a method actor.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I saw him in this movie, I'm like, why is he shaking his head so many times? What's he agreeing to? But I think he was just, method acting. So.
Yeah, I kind of go over it, but he's basically, I think he's imitating a bird. He's doing a predatory bird. He's deliberately being like an eagle or something like that. He's deliberately trying to imitate an eagle so he can like give you a vibe that this man is really a predator.
Oh, I didn't even think of that at all when I saw that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can get into it. I mean, otherwise we're gonna keep on talking about the entire cast and we're not gonna finish.
I'm trying to avoid this movie, that's why. Okay.
Okay, so there's Martin Donovan who plays Trump's dad. He was in Simple Men, Surviving Desire, Trust, The Book of Life, Flirt. He was also in Weeds. I don't know if you remember the series Weeds. I guess it's one of those series that is actually quite underrated, maybe. He was also in Insomnia.
You know, credit where credit's due.
And Tenet.
That was a different actor that was playing Trump's dad.
Yeah.
No, man, are you sure it's not young Fred Trump? That's impressive if he's playing Trump's dad.
That was Trump's dad, bro. It says Fred Trump Sr.
Oh, they were. Okay.
I guess it's probably prosthetics that make you.
Okay, well done to him because that was really good.
Yeah, because he looks completely different in that movie. Yeah.
There was that other guy. There's an
I thought it was the older brother.
No, yeah, I thought he was the older brother, but there's another actor that kind of plays that looks like Trump's dad, and I thought, oh, okay, it's him. This movie has strange ups and downs, but yeah, I'd have to search for the movie, like 20 different movies to find the actor I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Oh well, let me not do that. You good?
I'm good. We can continue.
Alrighty. Part of me is like low key looking, because I know you know who I'm talking about. Got white hair.
No, I think you need to be more descriptive than that, buddy. I have no idea who you're talking about.
He was in crap.
I honestly have no idea who you're talking about.
Watch when I'm at home, when I'm in bed, I'm gonna wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and then phone you and be like, I know who it is.
So wait, does he? Is he usually a villain? Is he usually a good guy? Action drama.
Born. I think he's one of the he's the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Google the 40 what's this Alphas, the series.
I'm already on board. Okay. Brian Cox.
No, Brian Cox is in Succession.
Yes. That's why I legitimately thought it was Brian Cox.
You thought it was Stryker from X-Men 2?
I thought it's fucking Stryker, of course. That's a good one.
The original Hannibal Lecter?
Yes, because he has a look. Okay, I can't. That's why, because at the bottom of the IMDb, there's a picture of him and Troy. And I'm like, these two people look similar in the picture. But now that you're showing me, I'm like, oh God, okay, no, that is a different actor. I still think that's impressive
No, it's very impressive. Very
for this
impressive.
actor to like really look that different.
He looks nothing like that guy.
I legitimately thought it was someone else, but all right.
I actually thought it was someone way older, for real.
See,
because it doesn't look that old in his photos, unless if those are really old photos.
Probably really old photos.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let's get into it.
Finally, one step to getting this over with. Okay. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Uno momento. Por favor. Por favor. My leg! Okay.
Wow, so you need stress pills to review this movie?
Exactly. I need drugs to get this over with. Okay. And we begin. Okay, the movie starts with Nixon being full of shit, setting a very hard tone. The president on screen being full of shit kind of sets a tone for what the rest of this movie is going to be about. Where he's like, I worked hard for this, or something like that. Like, you know, and he's like, what is he? First he says, okay, I deserved everything I earned, is number one. And you just know that they were making fun of him for that. And he was like, I did nothing wrong. So you can kind of get a vibe.
Is this when he was making a speech about, like, where he was clearing his name?
Basically, yes. So it's an opening speech. And it kind of, if you think about it, it sets a tone.
You remember that scandal with Nixon, right?
Of course I do. Watergate, absolutely.
Okay.
It's so funny because if you think about modern day scandals, Watergate was actually...
Wait, by Watergate, what are you talking about?
Watergate is basically where Nixon hired a bunch of guys to investigate his enemies. And
okay, hence the movie The President's, The President's Man or something, with Dustin Hoffman and...
Is that the comedy one or is it the other one?
No, that's
the Angle of the Journalists, yes.
Yeah, The Angle of the Journalists. Yeah, I think it's one of the movies that I actually wanted us to cover.
Yeah, and it's so funny, that movie, compared to some of the stuff today, it's kind of funny that this man kind of lost his presidency. Because if people today were to hear what presidents were doing compared to then, because you have to remember something, one of the things, right, was, okay, he was spying on his enemies. Just to remind you guys, 2015, Joe Biden and Barack Obama.
Obamagate, right?
I wish they could have called it that.
Wait, but isn't that what Trump was calling it? Obamagate when he was...
No one was paying attention to Trump at that time.
Okay, fair enough.
He basically said, without evidence. And then later on, it turned out, no, he was right. Because what happened was, because Obama built a giant spy facility.
Yeah.
It was called, I forgot what it's called, but it's like an underground computer thing where it keeps track of literally everything. We're talking millions of terabytes of data it keeps. But it's not allowed to pay attention.
No, I didn't know that, actually. I think I'm familiar with something else. Okay.
Okay. So Obama built, he used the Patriot Act, which was, of course, George Bush. George Bush took advantage of 9/11 to basically loosen a lot of the laws involving, you could say, like, criminal rights. Not criminal rights, what's the right way of saying it? But let's say American civil liberties, let's say that. Called the Patriot Act. And then when no one was looking, which is why Snowden was such a big deal, because no one knew until Snowden.
Until Snowden revealed.
Yeah, that not only had.
So are you telling me that nobody knows where Snowden is to this day?
Oh, he's in Russia. You can talk to him right now. He was caught, but then he got to Russia in time, and Russia is giving him.
So what? They gave him political asylum.
Yes.
Ah.
Literally.
Makes sense.
The same thing happened for the what's his name? The white-haired guy. Cumberbatch made a movie for him. Cumberbatch made a movie about him. The WikiLeaks guy. He was also in asylum in a South American country, and the South American was like, "We're bored of asylum. Anyway, America, here he is." And they dragged him into an American airplane. They sent him to America, and he went to jail.
Jesus.
I forgot what that guy's name is, but he's the guy who invented WikiLeaks. That was its own story. But anyway, Obama using the Patriot Act to the point where the guy who made the Patriot Act was like, Jesus Christ, this is not what we meant.
But isn't that always the case? Someone who invents something, I'm sure the OnlyFans creator, it's like, this is not what OnlyFans is for.
He was like, this is not what this is for. This is not what I meant.
Exactly.
Literally. So yeah, one could argue bad reason with another bad reason. So anyway, he builds this mega facility. And then it turns out other countries have this facility. It's called the Five Eyes. That's its own thing. But anyway, basically, you're not allowed to spy on Americans, right? Fourth Amendment, you're not allowed to spy on Americans. So what happened was there'd be a bunch of judges. And these judges would be like, okay, if you give us like a warrant, if you give us a warrant, we'll let you like uncover this stuff. That's because like it'll be like, so-and-so said this, but the name will be redacted.
Yeah.
It was proven that Obama and like Biden unsealed those things over 1,000 times involving the Trump presidency. I mean, involving the Trump campaign.
This is his
and that's worse than Watergate if you think about it.
This is his first term in office.
Yes. Yeah. Well, before his first term, when there was still Trump versus Clinton, so 2015. So like, believe it or not, that's actually worse than Watergate. Because what files was Nixon gonna find against his opponent? You know what I mean? Whereas amount of information from that uncovering, because remember everything's on computers now. Doesn't matter. So that was way more information. It was a whole thing. It was fascinating.
No, you're absolutely right. Nowadays we have way more information than back then. I mean, back then you had to go like look for actual files.
Yes.
You know, and envelopes and all of that. To uncover information that possibly might not be entirely true or as detailed as something that's online.
Exactly. Who's to write, I'm doing a bad thing on a piece of paper?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Unless if it's a confession or an affidavit of sorts.
What are the chances of that? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
What are the chances of that? So nowadays it's a lot worse than it was then. But anyway, where were we? Point is.
Well, basically, we were just explaining Nixon's speech.
Yes.
We're just explaining the origins of Nixon's speech because we're just giving people context. I mean, because it just starts with the speech, and if people don't know the context of that speech, especially people who are not maybe interested in politics, history, or American history in general, they might not even know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. By the way, you recommended a movie, All the Things Men.
President's Men.
I recommend Frost Nixon. I think that is a great video because a great movie, Frost Nixon. Basically, Nixon. Because after Nixon resigned, he did an interview with a famous Australian guy. Like it was out of the blue. Like, why are you interviewing Nixon? Who are you? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, this is the movie where people are saying the wigs are horrible. Okay, I need to check it out.
Well, the dialogue itself and the movie itself is pretty great. I wasn't paying attention to the wigs.
I mean, from the little that you said, it sounds like it could possibly be an Aaron Sorkin movie, even though it's probably not.
Yeah, it's dialogue heavy, but it's not a Sorkin movie. But yes, actually, that's a good point. Though, to be fair, I've got to admit, I swear 2000s and 90s dialogue is a lot better than all of us seem to remember.
100. No, I completely agree. Look, from what I've noticed, 1970s movies, and I'm not talking about like stupid action stuff. I'm talking about the kind of stuff we're talking about, like political thrillers and stuff like that.
12 Angry Men, Citizen Kane, even.
Stuff like that. I mean, that's way before the 70s, but yes, 70s, 80s.
What's the
Oh
one?
my goodness.
Yeah, we had Gene Hackman was like the king of the world in that time period. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the surveillance one, the wiretap one that he did? I forgot what it was called. Fantastic movie.
I don't know the one that you're talking. I know he was in Enemy of the State, but I also know that he was in a movie where he was on death row.
Hmm?
And who's this guy? Chris O'Donnell was trying to not Chris O'Donnell, man. Who played Robin in Batman and Robin again? Yeah, Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, Chris O'Donnell was trying to get him pardoned or whatever. But yeah, he just couldn't make it on time.
Let me just make. Because Unforgiven, we all know Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood. Superman. He was also Lex Luthor. Let's not forget.
Yeah, the movie I'm talking about is called The Chamber.
I think I know. Yeah. I don't know that one, but the one I'm thinking of is called The Conversation. Also 1974. Also a French Connection of 1975. This man.
I mean, he was in Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know if people know this.
I don't know. I didn't even know that until you said that right now. Actually, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. But yeah, 1970 and 1980 was this man's decade. These were his decades, and people don't even know Gene Hackman. Like if you're into film and you don't know who Gene Hackman is, are you sure you're into film?
Okay, the man is 95 years old. If people don't know, he was in the military service, like from 1947 until 1951.
Yes.
Like he is no joke.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense why his action movies are so hyper realistic. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But anyway, let's not go too far.
Yeah. But anyway, like him, I'd put him and Tommy Lee Jones in the same bracket, because Tommy Lee Jones was like this great footballer before he started acting and all of that. I didn't even know that. I realized like late last year. I had no idea. But anyway,
you'd be surprised how many of those actors in those days had like very full lives. Like it's almost we live in a world now where we all over specialize.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm with you completely. Like people had multiple talents and they were able to explore most of those talents to a point where when you hear about the stuff that they've done before acting, you're amazed at the stuff that they're able to do. I think there's also this guy, man. What's his name again? We spoke about him before. He's a comedian. Is it
you know?
Regal, something Regal.
South African one.
No, American. Is it Don Regal or something like that? You know him. He's a very funny. He's a huge guy. It's funny, but I think he was in the Navy or something. Is it Rob Regal? I think it's Rob Regal.
I'm not sure that name. That name doesn't ring a bell. But you'd be surprised how many Americans were in the Navy or in the Army first.
You definitely know Rob Regal, bro. There's no way you don't know Rob Regal.
Probably just need a movie or something.
Pardon?
Probably need a movie or something. Because the name is not hitting. Let's see. I'm going to type it in. Rob Regal.
Yeah.
Nah, no face.
ROBRIGGLE.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Wriggle. Okay. I didn't see that. Oh! He's like the guy that's like the second voice to Cusco.
Yeah, he's basically, I guess you could say it's like Patrick Warburton's younger brother or his twin brother or something. But he was in the Marine Corps from like 1990 to 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you look at him, he's big, he's huge, dog. You can see that this guy can, like, he can really, he can really do some damage.
Put you to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was in Iraq, bro, the Iraq war, but he was in the war in Afghanistan. So, yeah.
That was a full service for him. Well done, man.
Yeah. Anyway, it's amazing how we got this far from one small scene of the intro of this movie.
We're back to the old days. It's good. That's good true. Tangents.
That's true.
Anyway, point is we're setting a tone that, we're about.
I guess it shows like New York at night, Trump walking around the streets. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live. Have you seen Saturday Night?
But more terrible, but yes.
Yeah, it's kind of starts like that as well. It basically just gives you the ambiance of
I would say
what's happening in the
70s. Have you seen Taxi Driver?
Taxi Driver as well. I'm sure both of these movies were inspired by Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
They must have been.
And don't forget, it's also doing 4:3 aspect ratio, which was what was the normal in the 70s, in the 80s, and it's playing 80s rock music. It's showing very slums place, and it shows the Commodore. And then, then we cut to a nightclub, and we open on Trump ruining a date by showing what he wants. And it sets the tone. Okay, first of all, I forgot to say, the beginning shot, that little short thing, was like is a split-second version of, we've discussed it before, about an I Want song. It gives you an idea, when a character in a musical sings a song about what they want, and you kind of see the movie, kind of whether or not they achieve it.
Right.
And this is kind of that opening thing, and this is kind of a combination of that one big I Want song. So anyway, it sets the tone as he ruins a date by showing people that he's obsessed, showing people he's obsessed over, keyword being obsessed. You'll notice the dialogue doesn't say admire, but says obsess.
Look, he had zero game in that scene. Yes. And he seemed to be more interested in other people other than the person that he was with at the time.
That supermodel was bored as fuck, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you see him sitting alone by himself, where I even say it here, Sebastianstan does a great job playing Trump and plays him almost impossibly awkward and lonely by himself, sitting like this.
Right. And also the girl said she's going to the bathroom. So in my head, I'm thinking she's gone. Like, I don't think
I'm like, okay, she probably dumped this man because...
Yeah, she's not coming back.
Yeah. This angle is being played incredibly hard because they're painting a picture of a change that is about to happen. At least I think so. We open on a predatory stare by Roy Cohn, our Lucifer-type mentor. Jeremy Strong plays the predator so well with the sharpness of his glare, and again, he's like bird-like head bobs, which we'll see later on.
Just like this all the time.
Yeah. Now, what is good about the scene is that they make Roy seem competent as he kind of lays when he calls Trump over. He offers Trump advice. Again with that, and then he ends it with like a bird of prey kind of head bob and the leg grab over there.
I don't want to lie. When I saw this, I was thrown off by it. When I saw that performance, I was like, "This guy is a horrible actor." Like, because I haven't seen Succession.
Yeah.
And I only watched The Gentleman after watching this movie, and also I had no context whatsoever. I had no idea what this movie was about. I just felt like it was miscast initially when I saw this. But obviously, as the movie progressed, I was like, okay, I was completely wrong.
He's being 100% this character.
Yeah.
And then the scene ends with him with this, like, I almost want to say there's a level of seduction to it, but I will get into that later on. We see him doing his job. We see Trump doing his job. We cut out to the next day. Trump's doing his job collecting rent. It's a hell of a nightmare for him as he basically gives a hard time to people, and people are just giving him a nightmare of a time. Then we get a taste to the point where it's like someone throws boiling water at him at one point, and then another person is like acting like clinically insane. He has to be like, yo, man, I need you to remember yourself enough to pay your rent.
Actually, this is based on a book. Someone actually made reference to this. I don't know if it was Graham Stephen or if it was just one of these property guys, or Kel McElroy, or maybe a South African real estate person. They were basically just saying that Trump would deliberately knock on the door and step back deliberately because he realized that you never know what tenants might do to you when they open the door.
It's time for it.
And when you watch that specific scene, you do see him actually stepping back. Yeah. And he's dealing with different tenants,
Yeah. And
sometimes he can't even open the door.
Yeah.
Some of them curse him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. But believe it or not, over there, like, they get angry at tenants. Like, there's been stories of tenants being killed. In this one there was a COVID story where a guy, thanks to the COVID rules by Biden, it was difficult to get rent because they were like, oh no, COVID rules say I don't have to, or something like that, right? And so this guy hadn't paid his rent for a year. And then I was like, yo, we need you to pay your rent. And this was an old man trying to get the rent, and they kicked this old man down a flight of stairs, and he died. So yeah, it is difficult. Yeah. So
that's the landlord.
Yeah, the landlord kicked down a flight of stairs, dog.
Oh, that's horrible.
Americans, I mean, I don't know how South Africans are with landlords. Honestly, I'd have to learn about it.
Hey, yo, trust me, South Africans are also horrible. Like this thing is a global thing. It's a universal thing.
Yeah. That's why
So what
comments
some
like,
South Africans do is they know that it's hard for a landlord to kick you out
yes,
of the flat, right? And the reason for this is because the government will ask you, where do you expect this person to stay?
yeah,
If you cannot have a solution for them to stay anywhere, then you're gonna have to like find a lawyer who can give you paperwork to get them out. Because even if you call the cops, these guys are smart, bro. These guys know the law. They'll tell you about like what's this? Not
yes.
property rights.
Tenants'
What's
right,
this word? Tenant
landlord.
rights or whatever, residential, whatever. I forgot the word for it now for some reason. But yeah, they know their rights
Yeah,
basically.
it's
So
so
even if they don't pay rent, you still cannot just take them out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will make the argument forever that things like that end up being a reason why we have a housing crisis. Because so why would you build a house knowing that whoever moves in might screw you over forever? And then
Right.
we have the nerve to be confused when these evil corporations come in and be like, you guys want housing? You know, BlackRock? And then they buy an entire suburb, buy the whole thing.
Mhm.
And then we have the nerve to be confused as to why they are the ones doing it instead of like normal people. It's because of weird rules like this. We live in a crazy world where if you do one thing to help people, it ends up hurting people in another way. It's like a little.
You remember what happened in 2008?
Mm-hmm. The
That
house.
the whole financial crisis was because of the housing crisis. Remember?
Yes, yeah. Because everyone thought housing was the most reliable thing in the world. Housing can't go wrong.
And everybody got, I think, was given like a home loan or something.
Yeah. It was people were so comfortable with the housing situation that they were handing out loans left, right, and center to people who should not be getting loans.
But didn't banks know that this was going to lead to a
They
collapse? They
knew.
knew.
They knew.
Come
But
on, guys. We
what
were not
happened?
born yesterday.
Yeah, I think
Because I
what
know
happened.
that Treasury now had to intervene,
Yes,
right?
because
Because
what
they had
happened.
to approach like your Goldman Sachs and your AIGs to actually help them out
Yeah,
financially. There's a whole movie about it. I hope that you and I will
sure, we
actually.
just discussed it. Jeremy Strong was in it. Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy Strong was in it.
No, no, that's not the one I'm talking about. The
Oh,
one
you
I'm
got
talking
another one.
about is it's starring William Hurt. It's called Too Big Fail. It's basically the words used by Warren Buffett
Ah,
at the time.
all
Yeah,
right. Okay,
yeah.
that's an interesting one. Definitely, I don't know that one.
I don't know
But
the one that you're referring to. Which one are you
Big
referring to?
Short.
Oh, The Big Short is also about that.
Yes.
I haven't seen The Big Short.
Watch the Don't Look Up, and you didn't watch the fantastic Big Short.
So you and I basically have two movies that we need to review this year. One is Too Big to Fail, and the other one is The Big Short.
Yeah, you can't pay me to watch Don't Look Up, but the Big Short.
No, no, I wouldn't recommend Don't Look Up, but I would definitely
Exactly.
recommend Too Big Fail.
Fantastic. I think we'll compare them or something. I don't know, but yes,
No,
absolutely.
no, but Too Big Fail is more like financial jargon, mumbo jumbo.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Oh, there's another documentary because I know you like documentaries.
yeah.
I think it was Mark Wahlberg who made the documentary. I'm not sure,
All
but
right.
basically they interviewed all these bankers
Mhm.
about this whole situation. And you should have seen one of the bankers was like a professor or whatever. They asked him like, "Wow, tell me about your involvement." Yo, man got tense
Yeah,
because they were like they had paperwork trying to show that you seem to be involved in this as well.
yeah.
Got tense. He was like, "Okay, you guys have got one more minute, then I'm out. Giving you a best
Jeez.
shot." I was like,
Yeah,
what changed?
that's hectic. That's
Yeah,
hectic.
fantastic. But anyway, I just want to say one thing. The government technically were the ones who said, we need to give housing to minorities, so we need banks to calm down with your
Yes,
loans. And
yes.
then the banks were like, you said it. And then they the ones who made that, and then the banks took advantage of that. But yeah, anyway, not the point. Moving on.
Oh, so they used the government's word against them.
Exactly.
Nah, jeez.
That's
And you know, in the 1920s, so in the 1920s or whatever,
hmm?
it was because of cars.
Oh, okay.
And in 2008, it was because of
Well,
the Great
yeah.
Depression. I think it was because of cars. And then 2008, it was because of
Yes.
housing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm also studying economics. So,
Ah, all
yeah.
right. Look at you, man.
Yeah. But
Um,
anyway.
yeah. And maybe you get 2 minutes
I'm
of...
trying to get this movie to be a bit interesting for you because we're using actual historical events.
Might as well, right? It's a biopic, and I do love that kind of thing because A, I hate government, so any excuse to make government look bad is always good for me.
That's hilarious. That's you do know that we were also affected, right? In
Oh no, we were, yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
Like during the whole pandemic?
Yes. Oh yeah.
With those repo rates and stuff.
Yeah. It's because we're an import-export country. So
yes.
half of Europe, half of China, and all of America goes broke at the same time. Guess who suddenly looks like a luxury? Us. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what's gonna happen. Anyway, we get a full 2 minutes of Trump back at the Commodore Hotel, with Trump trying to do his pitch with this other guy. It's an effective scene because it kind of paints all of Trump's roadblocks after talking to Cohen, right? So what's happened now is we get 1 minute of the Trump family, right? Then we get another minute with the brother by himself, and then you get another minute, and we get 2 minutes with the pitch to this guy. And there's this funny joke with the prostitute shows up, with the pimp showing up, and it's like, no, this is a great area. This is prime real estate. And then a pimp shows up and is like, here, do you want to sleep with my wife? And
that basically proves that guy's point that this is not a place where you should be building a building. Like there's no way you should build a huge tower in an area where pimps are just walking by and trying to pimp you out. You're crazy for doing it.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah.
So normally one scene does a lot. Like we discussed this in Karate Kid, where there'll be one scene and the dialogue will set up like 20 different things, or have like a beginning, middle, end kind of flow to it. In this one, I would say the movie actually does the opposite, where it uses a lot of scenes to say one thing. And that one thing is that Trump needs Roy.
For sure, because at this point, even though that guy who Trump was talking to about that building that he wanted to, about Trump Tower, what will become Trump Tower, is the guy was only willing to listen to him because of his dad.
Yes.
Like the only reason I'm here is because of your dad.
And then he says, if you want to talk again, get rid of this case.
The case where black people are saying that Trump is giving this, asking them to pay more rent and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or rather, he's rejecting them. I don't remember the situation. He was not accepting
black people. Yes.
Yeah, rejecting them. No?
Yes, that's the idea.
Yeah.
All that. So when we return to the same location, we get major context. Okay. Which explains why he drinks when he's pushed by Roy. He also goes as far as to following Roy to the toilet, and then first he follows him to the toilet, and you can kind of see the desperation of Trump, right?
Yeah.
And then
because all of a sudden Roy is different. Like a couple of days later from that initial conversation, Roy doesn't care about this guy anymore. It's as if he forgot who he is.
Yeah, and that's a technique that conmen do, by the way.
Right.
You don't go desperate. You go too desperate, you lose the person. So you need to let go so this guy comes to you. That is scam 101.
Manipulation 101.
Yeah, so don't think of that as a coincidence. That's on purpose.
Yeah. It's deliberate, yeah.
Yes.
Nowadays people will call it love bombing and you being narcissistic and all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I mean, it's a weakness that doesn't just involve love bombing, because people, but that's a psychological thing. Never mind. Let me not go too deep. Let's not get too distracted. I do want to go home. Right. But yeah, point is, he then pushes Trump to drink, even though he knows Trump doesn't drink. And then when he does that, and Trump drinks to the point of getting drunk, at that point, it's hook, line, and sinker. He's got him. And then and he even used the whole take it or leave it thing on thingamajiggy on Trump, and it works.
Right.
Take it, leave it. It's the breaking of character done very well and very. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say there's a good comparison here. The breaking of the character, in other words, the breaking of Trump's character is done very well and very quickly with the character of Knockout Ned in City of God, as he goes from a good guy killer to a killer. Please check out our review of City of God. Shameless plug. But basically that little piece with Knockout Ned, where he gets broken down. He's like, I don't want to hurt any innocent people.
Yeah.
To the point where he guns down security guards in like 2 scenes.
Yes.
I think it's done even better in City of God because, again, one of the greatest films of all time. Anyway, and the whole time, Trump looks like a puppy, an awkward, ridiculous mess. Now, even if this movie wasn't about Trump and Republicans, I don't think you can call this nuanced, but I think that's just my personal opinion. Because some of this dialogue is wild, where you're like, I bet. Do you know what this dialogue sounds like to me? You know, there's this impression that a lot of black people have that when white people walk away from black people, the first thing they do is say the N-word. Whew, they're gone, guys. Coast is clear. The N-word now. Do you know what I mean? There are people who sincerely believe there are white people who think like, do you know what I mean? Right. And to me, this is what it feels like. It feels like it was written by people who don't know what Republicans sound like. Yes, Republicans do like, I love my country, I support my country. Hell yeah for my country. But this homeboy, dog.
You feel like it's overdone.
Yeah, it feels like I've never met someone who talks like this. Let me put it like that.
I hear you.
But it's like, you know, a young boy's impression of an ideal woman, and you're like, okay, no woman looks like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, no, she's way too perfect. I know we have another Armas and Gal Gadot of this world and Emilia Clarks, but no woman looks like exactly the way you explained.
Someone's got balloons on their chest or like smuggle watermelons. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to smuggle watermelons. What's going? Who are you drawing?
Exactly.
That's what this dialogue feels. I would say, yeah, the dialogue, the acting.
It exaggerates the scene.
Dog.
To a hyper-realistic level where, not even hyper-realistic, it's satirical to a certain degree. Yeah.
I would almost say surrealist, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it's beyond human. Like,
yes. No, that's the right word. You're right. Yeah.
I almost feel like the best example of surrealist dialogue would be, what's his name? The Shining.
Stephen King.
No, don't do that to me. No.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh my God. Well, yes, the actor, but I'm talking about the director. The Shining.
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. He, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, his other movies. He has something like that where the dialogue isn't exactly human. And Stanley Kubrick actually goes out to say in his interviews that he does it on purpose. Because for him, he's not trying to take a picture of the world. He's taking a picture of the picture. And because of that, there's like a level of distortion that happens. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the writers here, because again, I don't like this movie. I know you do. But I feel like they weren't doing it on purpose. But anyway, I just feel like that to me is a failure. Because there's a good movie here, by the way. Anyway.
It's a good movie, but you don't like it.
No, I'm saying there's a good movie hidden in here.
Oh, okay.
But there are decisions made where you're like, if you'd followed through with this and left this behind, this would have been a better movie. But hopefully I'll explain it to you as we go along. Anyway, the winning over of Donald Trump is not complete. We're 20 minutes in because Trump, believing he is the ultimate people person, wants to mimic Cohen's success. He's blown away. And upon asking Cohen, he gets the rules for life. Sorry if this seems a bit fast. I actually wrote this before in more detail, but then I lost the writing. So if anything, it seems like I'm jumping quickly, but yeah, sorry about that. I normally layer this a little bit more. But anyway, we get the rules for life, and it's such a big deal that music starts playing, like dramatic music starts playing. It's like, and then rule 1, attack.
I'm going to teach you some rules, okay? I'm going to teach you some rules. Rule number 1, attack. Okay, attack.
Man picks up the phone and then fucking attacks the assistant DA, ADA with a threat so bad that the actual DOJ calls him and is like, what the fuck, man?
That was actually brilliant because what he did is he offended the PA, knowing that the PA was going to report him. Right, and that would get him
actual lawyer, an assistant DA, not a personal assistant.
Oh, sorry, the assistant DA would actually report him to her superior, right? Yeah. Who would then call him to say, "What the f?"
Yeah, and
so he actually got to speak to the person he wanted to speak to anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been like, okay, you will have a meeting in 3 months But thanks to that, he got a phone call same day, dog.
Exactly.
And then rule 2, admit nothing, deny everything.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't say any of that. Yeah.
The phone call that happened today, I didn't say any of that shit. It's like, what?
But even the guy was not buying it. Even the guy who was talking to over the line, I was like, no, you definitely said that to him, you know?
Yes. But he's like, no, I didn't. Anyway, we see him in court in just the uttermost, just saying the most racist and sexist things you've ever heard in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Oh, dog.
So what was the case about again? I think
it's about the racism case. It's about the admittance thing.
Oh, wait, was it when he just gave him the money? Because I feel like we were going a bit quicker than okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So Trump needed to get some cash to give him. Well, to pay him for his services.
Okay. Yes. In the beginning. Yes. Okay. Before the attack. Yes. He goes to Cohen's house. You kind of see things are busy.
Yeah. Wasn't he doing push-ups or something? I don't.
No, that was
sit-ups or whatever he was doing.
First, he starts in a busy thing. Everyone is working around him. It is chaos. Then he comes in
like a table, like a Scarface moment where
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he comes in with a nice gown, basically just living his best life. Then he comes in and he does something very good in terms of filmmaking, and that's sometimes a lot of movies. Something that always stresses me out is sometimes movies forget to tell you why someone is good at something. So he comes in and he just makes a bunch of decisions. You don't know what the decisions mean. They're talking too fast. It might as well. It might as well.
Aaron Sorkin likes that shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like you are, as a viewer.
Yeah.
You were late to the meeting.
Exactly.
As an audience member, you were late to the meeting. You're just there to hear people speak about things that you don't know what they're about. But upon watching this movie a few times, you kind of sort of like have an idea of what's happening, especially with subtitles. Maybe you're watching it on Netflix, but at the theaters, this kind of information just goes above your head. And
that's fine because none of it is relevant. It might as well be Star Trek, hyperspeed, fly the googly blacks to the so-and-so, the googly black planet. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Star Wars logic, yeah.
Yeah, it's space jargon. It's space jargon.
Right.
The idea, though, like, because again, Sorkin talks about this, sometimes it's about the tone. And the tone is, this man is in charge. He's the leader. And,
that's the point.
Visually, you see it with him wearing different clothes to everyone else. And audio, you hear it in the way he speaks to everyone else.
Right.
And then we cut away from that to the push-ups. And that's when he gets the money. And he's like, okay, cool, I'm your lawyer. Here's what we're going to do. And then Trump's like, okay, look at all these people. So cool. And that's when the sequence starts. That's when the set piece begins. Attack, deny everything.
But I think also he told him to get a suit, right? Is it before he told him these 3 rules?
I don't remember. I won't lie to you.
Because I think he told him, dude, like, no, you gotta change your suits. I don't like how you're dressed. Kind of like Harvey Specter in Suits in a way, where it's like, dude, you gotta look better than this.
Possibly. I don't remember that.
Because Trump at the time, I think he was dressing.
I mean, he was wearing suits, though.
He was wearing suits, but they were not the suits that he needed to wear in order to make a great impression.
It was suits we'd wear, I think.
100%. 100%. Guys, by the way, if you guys want to donate something, maybe now's the time because, like Rob said.
The struggle continues, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, the best way you can support is just to buy Rob's books. That would be great. And then hopefully enough when we get enough subscribers, we'll do a membership thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, the set piece then begins. That was all set up for the set piece. And we get the rules for life. Attack, admit nothing. And then we get to the court case where this man is saying wild things, racist, sexist things about.
Dude, even the black guy is like, what?
The black guy is like, nigga, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why is everyone smiling? What am I missing?
The dad is not impressed, by the way. Like Trump's dad doesn't like this guy at all.
The dad gets 30 seconds of screen time, and the dad is just like a dick, first of all. But anyway, it's so funny. The part that's really funny is after that whole thing, Trump's like, we're going to win. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? You put a C next to black people's names, you're going to lose.
Yeah, and Trump is confused because it's like, no, I give you the money. What do you mean? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that's when you get hit with rule 3, which is claim victory, never admit defeat. And then we see the homophobia angle played. And I am shocked that we haven't seen full-on xenophobia yet. Turns out I was mistaken. It's coming.
Right.
But anyway, basically, this man is going for the full ism bingo card. So, and then we get straight blackmail to win the case. Like they are just, and then you gotta get this atmosphere that they're above the rules. The rules don't apply to these people. That's
basically what he was telling Trump. Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna come back to that. But yes, that's basically what he's telling Trump. And then this is a 2-hour movie. So there's rules for 2-hour movies as well. For most movies that are about 2 hours long. And that's every 15 minutes to half an hour. There are normally key points happening.
Mm-hmm.
And normally every hour is supposed to be a story. So it's 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour, 15 minutes in terms of story structure. In about the 15-minute point, the structure we got I'll tell you now.
You said it's 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes.
All right.
But the comeback, 15-minute mark was about the hook, line, and sinker, the comeback, when Trump comes back and then begs for Thingamajiggy's ear. That was about the 15-minute mark to kind of set the pace. So that was a key structural point. Then the next structural point is about the half an hour mark, and that's when the sequence ends, and we kind of wake up to Nixon resigning, we wake up to a phone call. Trump settles with no admission of discrimination, and Trump is like a kid, he's all over the place. So yeah, we kind of got like an emotional low for Trump, because you realize he can't do it on his own at the 15-minute mark. And we get a bump as he gets a success because he wins the case. Now we can finally move forward. And then we kind of move on to the next step as we kind of see he's celebrating. He gets to, what's the word I'm looking for? He wins Roy Cohn over. Anyway, Trump is like a kid all over, and we see Roy teaching him to be bombastic and explosive. It's kind of like that limo phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's so funny, with like Trump's trying to go back and forth, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because I mean, he's hesitating, you know what I mean? And he's trying to teach him that, look, dude, no, don't hesitate, be confident, make sure that you know your story.
Don't be humble, but then like don't go crazy, basically.
Yeah. Do you remember Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Where Rusty is trying to brief Linus to say, okay, smile, but don't smile a lot. Make jokes, but make sure that he forgets you the minute you're out. Make sure, like, he's giving this guy a lot of
remember that, yes. But
I always remember that moment. That did amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
And he ended up doing it anyway. It's not like he gave Linus to do it. He went there himself to do it. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, they make a friendship deal where Roy buys him a suit and actually gives the money back.
That's the suit thing I was telling you about. Sorry.
Yes.
I think I jumped the gun about that.
Okay, now it makes more sense to me. Yes, This is the suit section where Roy buys him a suit, gives him the money, and then they kind of get a little moment where like there's an obstacle where like Trump is like, my dad's not gonna like this. Me mentioning the Commodore Hotel, not gonna like that, because remember the Trump family are all about housing.
Yes.
And then Roy is like, do you want to be a loser or a winner, basically? And then Trump's like, I want to be a winner, and then Anyway, with all things settled, we're now in the second half an hour of that first half an hour segment. When all things are settled, Trump is free of the pressure and as a distraction, he sees his first wife fighting with the manager at the door to get in. Now, the structure, like I've explained, has been fairly effective. Though I have to question one thing about the work that was put in to create that structure. By the 30-minute mark, a quarter of the way through the movie, we start a new adventure of settling the Cohen element. Now,
just a quick question. Do you want to share a screen of these notes that you're reading?
Sure.
I think let's do that. I have the the crazy idea that maybe the viewers might want to see what the hell you're talking about because you write this stuff. If you guys think we're just freestyling here, Rob actually spends like hours and hours actually writing this stuff. I'm just the guy that comes in and just says, "Hey, how you guys doing?"
Ahead of everything.
Anyway, I'm sorry to mess up your flow there,
No problem.
but I think yeah, it just makes, I guess, the video itself a bit more interesting and that people can view what we're talking about.
No problem. So yeah, setting the core element. Now we're meeting Ivana Trump.
Right.
Future Ivana Trump. He
Right.
gets them in by using Roy Cohen's name. Like he says his name and bam, Roy Cohen, the manager's like, "Ooh, I apologize. Welcome."
Right.
And then he pays their check while apparently having watched them the entire time because the angle suggests that he was sitting in the corner just watching them the whole meal, dog.
Like a predator.
Yeah, it's not even like he was sitting at his own dinner table like Roy was in the first scene, remember? Roy was sitting at his own dinner table and you could see Trump.
Yeah, he basically created a monster now.
Exactly.
Because Trump is unconsciously doing what Roy was doing.
Yeah, just not in the same way because again, he's sitting at the stairs, just sitting on the edge,
from above.
Them.
Yeah,
very strange. But anyway,
yeah. But that was deliberate.
Yeah,
because I think from a storytelling perspective is that he has elevated to a certain level at this point.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. I think they did it to be creepy, but okay, no, I like your way of saying it too. I think that's actually not a bad way of looking at it. Maybe I'm being too negative, though I don't think so. But anyway, they struggle to get a cab, and Trump's limo shows. Like, what are the chances? And they ride.
He paid for their dinner or something, right?
Yes,
or their drinks.
I did not say that. Yes, he paid for their dinner. He pays for their check. Well, apparently, yeah, okay. They struggle to get a cab. Trump's limo shows up, and they ride their limo, and they get in. Ivana, by the way, is reluctant the whole time. She's like, I know what game you're playing right now, but you know what? It's available. Who am I to say no?
And her friends are basically telling her, dude, there's no way this dude is just being friendly. He wants you.
Yeah, there's no kindness of my heart here.
This is transactional for days. We're not playing.
To be fair to her, she understands that right at the beginning.
Yeah, she's not dumb.
Yeah.
She's not dumb.
I actually really like her because, again, she doesn't have that much screen time, but I love it. She's like, no, I know what you're trying to do. I'm not here for that right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's like, don't worry, there's no strings attached. He's like, I'll hold you to that, fine. And then etc. And he's like, just come on, man. There's no one here. She's like, no, like she's not up for it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But she's with her friends. They kind of having structure. He's just convenient the whole time.
Right.
Anyway, in it's a moment of him being the right guy at the right time.
At the right time, yeah.
Yes. It's an emotional high for the character to flow into the next set piece. Right. Someone is reading about Trump's trial. It's his mother, because he was at a high, so it's time for a low. Trump meets his father and they confront each other. But
we also have to be quite honest about Trump's mom. She was also not a pushover.
Yeah.
She was actually a smarty pants as well. Like, I think I like the way these characters are treated in this film. Like, nobody is written like a joke.
I mean, no one listens to the mom, at least so far. Like,
until that very important moment. I don't know if you remember that moment. I don't know if we're going to cover it in this episode or the next.
If it's in the second half, we're not going to cover it yet.
Okay, I think it's in the second half.
All right, that's good. I'm glad you know about that. I deliberately did not watch the second half yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting so I can do it in one. And I want to do this as I watch it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Anyway, the confrontation between Trump and his dad hits, and Trump walks out really quickly. And this frustrates me because, again, this movie, when it comes to the family, this movie is late for a meeting. But anyway, Trump goes straight to Roy because, of course, he does. Turns out there's a party at Roy's house. He's celebrating the Trump victory. And we end up with a dialogue scene with, what am I trying to say here? We end up with a dialogue scene with, a money-making stranger. Like some artist who's like, I'm an artist. It's like, what's your art? What do you make? I make money because money is making money. I'm like, the art of the deal. I feel like that's what's happening here.
Right.
Art of the deal.
But also, I think one thing I liked about this movie is Trump. It's not always about you. I'm talking about the character. Because when he goes to any party, when he tries to meet Roy, Roy is already busy. He's engaged in meetings, he's making decisions, he's giving orders. A very prominent individuals are rubbing shoulders with him. So when Trump gets there, he's either being introduced to somebody or something is happening with Roy. Like he's that much of an important character in Trump's life. Like,
That's true.
yes, I want to see you, but don't think that you're going to be the main attraction if you come here. No, chances are I'm busy. I'm, hosting people and so on.
A master is a master because he's talented. So, I mean, he's going to be busy. A king is a king for a reason.
What?
I said a king is a king for a reason, not because he's hanging out with the prince. Do you know what I mean? Even in Lion King, Mufasa still has work to do. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fully understand what you're saying. Trump. There's a party. We meet Roy, and we do the meet and greet where Roy is showing him all these big people. We end up with great news as Trump is set up with a meeting with someone who could give him a lot of money. And then there's a nice moment where you really get to see like I don't like to use the word jingoism. I hate that word. I think if someone used the word jingoism, talking to a bad person. But anyway, there's like America love that exists, right? With Roy.
What the hell is that?
It just means over love for America, in other words, or rather for your own country. So
like being overly patriotic.
Yes, that's basically what it's like, an insult term for people who are overly patriotic. So like Omar loves to use the expression. Because there's a movie that feels like it's pro-military, he's going to use that word like a motherfucker.
Who's that?
Bill Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher, all right.
Yeah, he's going to use that word like a mofo. Because, he hates that kind of thing. Which is why he got in trouble after 9/11. I don't know if you remember that, where he had his own show, and then he said something like, hey, terrorists think they're heroes in their own mind. And he was the first non-left, no, to be fair, he is a left-winger, but he was like the first ever proper cancellation to ever exist. Like,
so that joke didn't land, basically. It was done in poor taste. Because I'm sure he was just joking, was he not?
No, he was being dead serious.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't joking. He was like, okay, guys, but you have to look at it like from this angle. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, it was really bad. Cancelled his whole show. Then he ended up coming back like years later. But yeah, point is, we get this whole like America, and you just see Trump being like America as well. Like he gets like really amplified by it. He gets amped by it. Do you know what I mean? And there's a nice line that clearly sticks with Trump, and that's that I am America's client, and that's more important than all of you guys, which will be relevant to the Roy Cohen storyline later on. I think it's absolutely. This is why I like the character of Roy Cohen, even though I don't like the Trump part. I think Roy Cohen would be so cool in a different movie, but that's something else. Anyway, we end up
as a character.
Yes, because he's so definite.
Like if this was a series, and this series was told from Roy's point of view, it would have been a masterpiece. Where we see him dealing with, I mean, we've seen thousands and thousands of series like this. Let's not lie, Rob.
Why someone is this definite?
No. What I mean by that is someone who doesn't play by the rules. They kind of like. Who can I give as an example? Like someone who's street smart and gets away with stuff. Yeah.
But here's the thing: this man is literally a predator. I mean, Jeremy Strong literally played this man as a bird of prey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to be this. It's like the guy from No Country for Old Men almost. That's how like intensely intense Roy Cohen is in this story. Played by Jeremy. So I think that to me is. I don't think a TV series would have the balls to go full on with a character like this.
Well, if it's an HBO series, then.
Maybe, yeah. HBO, yes. I'd watch the fuck out of it, that's for sure. I would burn my eyes out. Anyway, the party then shifts dramatically. The lights turn red, and we see cocaine and a naked woman. Right. Just a champagne tray.
Wolf of Wall Street type.
Yeah. Trump is clearly nowhere near anyone. Likely not because he doesn't want to, but because he's he's a ridiculously awkward human being. So he goes to see Roy in his room because of course he does. He's a fucking idiot. And we step into a Diddy party at its height because he's a fucking idiot. Just right into a Diddy party. And then
I actually can't believe you wrote that, right? Like,
oh, you can read that.
But here's the thing. Things like that actually happen, bro. Like, I don't think anyone who's ever worked on people doing it expected that to happen. Unless if you're a flipping perv or a peeping Tom, you heard the sounds prior. But I promise you, anybody who's ever caught people doing it did not think that would happen.
Yeah.
No, did not expect that at all.
The bedroom section, I feel like there should be like I shouldn't have to put a tie on the doorknob for you to understand that the bedroom section of a party, if it's occupied, it's for a reason.
Yes.
We're not out there watching movies. Oh yeah.
Or maybe we know that in any room that's with the red door, we know that it's a sign that nobody should go in. If it's closed, if the door's closed, nobody should go in there. I think as a society, we need to do stuff like that because the tie can be taken away. Someone could just be an idiot, see the tie and take it away and leave.
Yes.
But if it's a red door,
100%.
You cannot take away that door. You know what I mean?
And it only lasts a second, but you just see Roy there, and you're like, Jesus Christ!
But they didn't stop either. It's not like they saw him and they were like, it's not what it looks like now, fam. You caught us doing it. We're not gonna be stopping just because you saw us. You either, They
were just like the D, the I, the D, the D.
Yeah. You either watch or you leave. Those are your two options.
That's so funny, dude.
Hey, when I saw that, I was like, what the hell?
Oh.
But I don't want to lie to you. It sort of, I guess it sort of like made me realize that I was not wrong. Because initially when I saw him
he was sus.
calling Trump
at
the bar, that's the impression that I got about this guy.
And Russell doesn't help. The guy playing Russell, the boyfriend.
Exactly.
Doesn't help at all. Didn't expect to see him on top. But anyway, that freaks Trump out. Most likely considering all the homophobic things that Roy has been saying this whole time. Like, at one point he was like, at the beginning he was like, I've wanted to meet up with you. I was like, what are you, some kind of F word? And it's like, and then everyone laughs. Yeah. And he says that like multiple times. Right. I guess they're going for the stereotype of, if you're a phobic, it's because you like it. Exactly. All I'm saying is I hate spiders. I'm not a spider. That's but I'm joking. Anyway, 40 minutes in, we open up on the big pitch, the one that he was excited about. And we see him facing execs. Now we get a great opening shot here. It's people the camera is looking over his back to this like perfectly symmetrical view of these board members looking straight at him. They're all homogenous. They're all wearing similar clothes. It's very creepy almost, and it's just beautiful shot. I loved it so much because even I was intimidated by it. Like that's what you want in a film. Right. Well done for him. Though I feel like when it had like 50 different cuts, it was kind of ruining it, but that's okay. That one initial thing was beautiful. Right. Anyway, the pitch ends, and he's questioned about how he's gonna make the money, and then Trump just makes first they say, okay, it's either unions. And I always thought of Sopranos when I think of that, or it's taxes. So how are you gonna make money? And then wait, why do you think of the Sopranos? You might have to enlighten me because I've never really watched the Sopranos. I think I've only seen 2 episodes. Oh, okay. Basically the Soprano. Okay, you have to remember something, right? The mafia, right? At some point used to sell they used to sell like simple things, be involved in simple things. Yes. But then before they ventured into crime, right? Well, no, I'd say as a part of their crime stuff. Oh, okay. Illicit sales, etc., like that, right? But then there wasn't enough money, so then they started to figure out a way to make money was to join unions and become union leaders. Oh. It's a good way to launder money. And actually, so in The Sopranos, they're union workers. They're, I believe the main character is like a head of the union or something like that. Oh, I see. And by the way, this is real life I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about real life.
Yeah.
And it's reflected in multiple movies though. So yeah, Sopranos, and I believe it is also reflected in this other great Netflix series.
I
That
just don't see how they're making money through unions, but I hear you. Yeah.
well, you think about it, you control all those people, and then what happens is they have to get their dues, which go through you, and you get your money.
You control what? The labor force?
Basically, yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure the full details myself, but yeah, that's why I never trust unions. Unions are the best of a bad solution. That's always been my opinion. A union,
I hear you. It's kind of like settling at like if there's a class action lawsuit,
Mhm.
and then you settle.
Mm.
I mean, that's not really the best solution for those people that are affected by
Exactly.
it, but it's the
Exactly.
best of a worst. It's what? The worst of a best solution, or what were you
It's the
saying?
worst solution, yes. Because a good example is China doesn't have unions, or rather they do, but I'm sure the government's like, no.
Right.
And because of that, they have suicide nets. So if there was a way where we didn't have unions, but we also didn't have suicide nets, for those who don't know what suicide nets are, the work conditions in factories are so bad that instead of stopping suicide and improving conditions, they put nets so you can't kill yourself at work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you can't jump off the building.
Hmm.
It's a ridiculous invention, a solution. It's like a hijacking stop sign. You know the hijacking warning sign?
Yeah.
We're hijacking hotspot. Yeah, it's the equivalent to that. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, Trump promises that he can get rid of he can't get rid of the unions, so he's gonna get rid of the taxes.
I mean, he was biting more than he could chew. I mean, how the hell was he gonna do that? When I was watching this scene, I was like, dude, where the hell do you think you're gonna come up with
Yeah,
this
he's like,
solution?
oh no, I own the so and so. Nigga, what? But anyway,
But I guess that's his philosophy, and I guess that's why he's so successful. High risk, high reward.
no,
So
I think what it is, in a logical movie, yes, that would make sense. That would be the right answer. But I just think it's this man writing off. He's trying to copy Roy, but it's not. He just it doesn't work out.
he still doesn't understand the game.
Yes, and to be fair, Roy calls him out on it.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yes, so
But that's the thing. I think for me, it was a very realistic depiction of learning on the job. Because when you learn on the job, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes before it clicks.
Yeah.
Unlike actually you studying some of these, because if you're studying, at least you're sort of cautious. But when you learn on the job, you are thinking that if Roy was here, this is what he would have said. But actually, that's not what he would have said.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know fully what you're gonna say. Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the
Complete
problem.
misunderstanding the situation. Yes, to the point where Trump goes running back to Roy's house.
Yes.
He rushes to Ray to make that super deal, and Roy is blown away by the insane promise Trump has made.
Yes.
But to even Trump's surprise, Roy actually says yes, and Trump is like, "Holy shit!"
So what was the deal again? The deal was that he's gonna make sure that he lowers the taxes of.
Not even. He said he's gonna remove all of them. The land tax. He's gonna remove.
Who was he talking to again?
One of the investors, one of the CEOs. I don't know if
the land tax of that business
of the building. Yes. So in other words, like rates, they're not necessarily rates, but yes, like a tax.
So what did he want? What did he want from it?
What do you mean?
Like, what was his value proposition? What was he providing these people?
Okay, that the CEO is going to provide capital to build the building.
Oh, okay.
Because Trump doesn't have enough money, so he needs people to get.
So he needs capital, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, but how are you going to get your money back if all your money is going to go to unions and labor and taxes? There's something. California and New York are the most tax-heavy states in the world, in America.
Makes sense, yeah.
So they're going to want their cut of their money. And you can always tell this is written by a left-winger, because right-wingers don't believe that. They believe if you let the money flow, the money will come in naturally, whereas left-wingers believe that tax is where the money comes in. It's actually kind of a fascinating difference in politics. It's like one of the key things.
So left-wingers don't believe in that tax is the solution?
No, they specifically believe the tax is the solution.
Sorry. Right-wingers believe that tax is the solution.
Wait, what? No.
Okay. Right-wingers don't believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. That's why you always, whenever you see right-wingers say taxation is theft. It's
Yes,
because
I actually remember this. I watched the video that basically summarizes the differences between Republicans and Democrats, and Tex was right up there.
yes, because again, the idea is right wingers believe. Well, this is my principle: is that the government is supposed to be a referee.
Yes.
I think we've discussed this before.
Yeah.
And
We discussed it, but I don't think I uploaded that video. Yeah. I didn't upload it.
Oh, okay.
It was too political.
Ha! You put up the Street Fighter video, didn't you?
No, I think it was it not the Tully episode?
No, the Street Fighter one, we did a whole hour on it, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but I think I took it out though.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was like a 3-hour video. I was surprised you took it out then. I need to rewatch it.
I mean, if I upload that video, I don't even know what I would call it. That's
it would just be chaos. Don't upload it. But anyway, principle is the principle is government's supposed to be the referee. So why are you paying the referee all this money?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas left wingers believe more like government's more like a mom, and yeah, you're supposed to give your mom money. But that's the thing. So that's you can kind of tell by the core principle of the movie. But anyway, that's just a fun thing, just so you guys know. Anyway, now Trump and along with his dad go to the court case. It's a civil meeting about the proposal. The mayor and his people say, absolutely, we're on your side because he's got the deal set up with Roy. What can I say? Yeah. So they come in, they say, hey guys, we support this. And then the council themselves, they say, guys, right now the city's going through a bunch of stuff. We're going to have a recess on this. We're going to get back to it, which means it's kind of a failure. Because if there's one thing government likes to do is, we're going to think about it and have a recess and be back. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
And his dad treats it like it's a no, and the dad just jumps on him immediately. And and the CEO that was gonna give him money is like, thanks for wasting my time. But there's actually an interesting point that I want to jump on actually, and that's when they're talking about that's when then at that point Trump's like, I thought it was a yes, and Roy is like, give me a minute. He disappears, and we get kind of like a separate scene, like a flash. I don't know if it's a flashback or a flash forward, where we get to see what Roy, how Roy does his business. And he goes full Epstein.
I think it was a flash. When I saw it, I thought it was a flash forward, not a flashback.
I also think it's a bit of a flash forward, actually. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes full Epstein. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Oh, do your thing, don't worry.
So I lost where I was, no?
So basically, it's during recess.
Yeah.
And Roy basically needs to come up with he needs to basically move. He needs to split the Red Sea at this point.
Yes.
He needs a miracle.
Yeah.
Trump needs a miracle.
Yes. Trump needs a miracle, and Roy's going to make that happen. And we get a piece of it first. We don't get the full scene. So we get a piece of it saying this is how you do it. And he goes full Epstein, showing the recordings of everyone talking. And then it cuts to the recording of the head of the council saying, hey, I've got $50,000 that I spent of the people, and I need to somehow fix this. Can you help me? And Roy said yes, and he got fixed. And then Roy uses that to blackmail the chairman, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then that becomes a yes. And then while that's happening, right?
Incriminating evidence, basically.
Basically, yes. To turn a no into a yes.
Yeah. But in a very impossible situation, because I mean it was as clear as daylight that there's no way they were going to win the case.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're coming with this idea that you're just coming up and changing your mind and saying that's fine, the text can be revoked or whatever.
Yes.
Which makes no sense to anybody else.
It's the value of $160 million, and that makes everyone confused and upset. Yeah. And there's actually now comes an interesting point about race in the storyline, because a black man jumps up and says, this is wrong, we need money. And this, there's an implicit layer of racism that is happening in this movie. It's
Mhm.
painted in the picture of wealth and access, but on the other side, pain for the black man. The prostitute, a black woman working. Then you get an ADA in the background who's working when the woman answers the phone, who's a black woman. The men outside when the attack scene happens. The men outside. The man outside when Trump is doing the rent pickup. There's a man that he looks at that's outside the place. He's not even dressed badly, but Trump looks at him funny as he's about to go into the building. That man was, of course, black. The man being shoved during the attack scene, the man being shoved into a police car while they take their fancy dog for a walk is, of course, black. The man in the courthouse that's being cheated out of getting a home from the Trump.
Yeah, that's the guy I was referring to earlier and saying this guy is even shocked that this has happened.
And you can't believe that it's turning into a joke in front of everyone. Yes, and in the background, and if you look at the offended people who are also shocked in the back of the courthouse in that same scene, all of them were black.
You see, like going back to what we're saying, that if this was a series about Roy, I bet you there could have been at least 4 or 5 black actors who would have been integral in that story.
Oh yeah, because this man, they were not trying to hide the pooch in this one. Anyway, the man shouting for injustice, but is ignored, is also black. Meanwhile, the VIP party that we saw, white. The lawyers in that room, white. The cops, white. The entire council, white. And I'm sure the unseen mayor was white too.
Wait. What I'm trying to understand is, where are you getting at this? What are you getting?
We're getting a 2-tiered system right now.
Okay.
The top being white and the bottom being black.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sort of makes sense. I mean, this is back in the 70s, so I'm assuming that the Black Panther Party was also quite prominent at this time in history. This was post-civil rights era.
Yeah, because Nixon was the if I remember, he was the president that signed in a lot of that stuff. So yes, it would have been post-civil rights era.
X had already passed on. Martin Luther King Jr. had already passed on. Okay, cool. Sorry, just trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, but there's definitely an implicit layer of up and down here, and it's basically centered around a Trump movie. So I think again, it's kind of a little bit of a fuck you to Trump. But anyway, unseen mayors, right? The so-called undercurrent.
Wait, how so?
Well, because basically it's saying that this man is basically pushing down the black to join the white, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's rocketing away from that black situation that he was in to go join the white people. So anyway, yeah, the so-called undercurrent has the nuance of a shotgun to the temple, in my opinion. So what people mean when they say, this is what people mean when they don't like politics in the movie. There are more valuable ways to make this kind of movie, in my opinion. For example, especially when it comes to the family. Like for me, the brother is so forgotten. The brother and father element, which in my opinion is so important. What's that movie called now?
But I guess they wanted to shift away from that so that they can purely focus on this relationship with Roy. But I do get what you're saying. If there was more time to this movie, or if it was told in a different manner, you would have basically shown the dad most of the time as well as the brother most of the time.
Explain what's happening, yes.
Like The Godfather, for instance.
Yes, but I'll say the best one is actually Whiplash. I said Drumline because I'm an idiot. I always confuse the two movies because they're both drummers.
Oh!
Because they're both drummers. They're both drummers.
No, Rob.
They're both drummers. So my brain goes.
That's apples and oranges, bro.
That's why I wrote
Drumline and Whiplash are not the same.
But my brain is in Drumline.
No. Nick Cannon and Miles Teller? Come on. Orlando Jones and J.K. Simmons?
I know.
Like, one is a hood movie and the one is so bourgeoisie, dog. Like, I don't understand. I mean, they're both brilliant movies, don't get me wrong. One won an Academy Award.
Yes, as it deserved, because J.K. Simmons is a flippant monster and the movie's insane. But anyway, not the point. Whiplash. I'm glad I didn't say Drumline.
I mean, someone in Drumline probably deserved to win an Oscar for that as well, but that's a story for another day.
That's another story for another day, yes. Drumline did a better job with so much.
Probably Orlando Jones. That's what I think.
Yes. Anyway, Whiplash did a better job with so much less than this movie, because it tries to understand the relationship between father and son. And again, this movie rushes through it because it's late for a meeting. The whole point of a biopic is to understand how A, got to be in terms of plot and emotion. Like the Ray movie, you kind of understand how we got from one to the other. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
What's it? We Were Young, the war one with the Mel Gibson movie starring Spider-Man, the one with the soldier who doesn't carry a gun. I forgot what it's called. Hacksaw Ridge. There we go. You see the situation of why he doesn't want to do it to why he's like this. I just feel like there should have been more of a family element, but we'll get into that. Anyway, the whole point is, you get to the point. Again, to me, this feels so much like plot only. Again, and before you think it's a father-son thing, maybe it's a masculine thing. No, because Black Swan did it with the mother and the daughter. You've seen Black Swan, right?
Yes, I did.
Fantastic. Again, you don't see that much mother, but you still get this element of why this chick is like this. Do you know what I mean? I felt like they could have done more with that in this movie, and it just feels like a missed opportunity to me. And
wait, did you say Red Swan or Black Swan?
Black Swan.
All right.
Not the Jennifer, or whatever her name is. Jennifer's. What's her name? Jennifer Aniston?
No, I think you're talking about Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, there we go. Not that one.
No, but that was Red Sparrow, was it not?
It's a color and a bird. It's a color and a bird.
No. I know you're talking about Natalie Portman, don't know, and Mila Kunis. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Meg. Yes, Meg was there. Yes. Shut up, Meg. Anyway.
Which is so like ironic, I guess, to say the least, because she was one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
Yeah.
But she's playing an ugly character on an animated show, which makes no sense. But yeah.
Can I ask you a question? I feel like, okay, I don't want to take this distraction because I want to get done. But do you feel like Mila Kunis, ironically similar to Sebastianstan, but actually even worse than Sebastianstan, is somehow wasted?
Mila Kunis is so wasted, it's not even funny, bro.
Right?
Like Mila Kunis is so wasted. Like she falls under the category of those actors and actresses who, I think you and I have said this a lot, even with the guys when we're doing these new Metro monthly lineup episodes, where we either feel like they have the wrong agent or we feel like they just choose the wrong projects.
Yeah, because it has to be someone who's picking these things.
There has to be someone at fault.
Like, why Max Payne? Why
Mila, you see, when she did Black Swan, at that time, she chose the right project.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think also, like, then she did like the Book of Eli or something. Like, she was doing stuff that was different from what we know her to be doing, because I mean, she started doing the 70s show, then started doing like rom-coms.
She killed that, by the way. That she did kill that 70s show.
Yeah, no, she did.
But then she'll do something like, again, I can't get over how bad Max Payne is. And I can't get over how bad Jupiter Ascending is. And I don't even mean the movies are bad.
Is Jupiter Ascending bad?
Bad in it. Yes! It's such bad. Like this.
Look, I know it was critically panned, but I don't think it was bad.
If I showed up with a script like that, you have every right to cancel this show. If I showed up, this is it. This is it, Bankutso. We're going far. We're going places.
What was wrong with this? What was wrong with that movie?
The same thing happens like 3 times where it's like, we're going to get married to this person. Turns out I was lying. I actually want you dead. Then they did it again. We're going to get married. I think
that's the thing about the Wachowskis, though. So the Wachowskis, for me, they're kind of like M. Night Shyamalan. Like, they hit or miss. You know what I mean? Because like when I watched Speed Racer, I didn't like it.
Really? That's the one you didn't like, but then you liked Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like, I like Speed Racer because of the IP, and I think the casting was great. But I feel like there was a time where I felt like the directing was way too much, where they would show people talking and the camera would be like panning.
Yeah, they were going for an anime vibe.
I get that, but it was too much, bro.
Really?
At a point. Yeah, for me. That's how it felt like.
What's it, The Hulk? With Ang Lee. What did you feel about that adaptation?
No, I didn't have an issue with that. I think I told you this before. That is my favorite. That's my favorite Hulk.
Freeze frame.
Yeah, no, that was done in good taste. But
really?
yeah.
So wait, in Speed Racer, like there's this cool action scene, right? And the camera turns, right? Because like there's like sparks or rain.
No,
coming.
no, I like the action scene.
And then the camera turns, right? And then what it does, it makes speed lines like you would in an anime. Like those.
No, that's amazing. Stuff like that was amazing. It's moments where they were talking where I felt like,
Okay. You know what's funny? Okay, there I could actually agree with you there. Where it's like, okay, now it's time for the characters to talk, and it's like, oh Jesus. Okay, that one I can kind of agree. Though to be fair, I could say the same thing for Jupiter Ascending. Though I can understand why you would associate M. Night Shyamalan. Because again, when it's time for characters to talk, we kind of fall apart.
right.
M. Night as well. Even though again, I do think he's the king of a good premise. Like a part of me wishes I could like be like, yo, M. Night, would you mind taking your cool idea and giving it to Zack Snyder? Hear me out. I know people are like, what the fuck is he talking about?
All right.
I would argue that, because remember, Zack Snyder isn't actually a bad director. He just is not a writer. He's not a bad director. He's not a writer. I don't think he
it's
wrote...
like you know, this manga artists who are great artists.
Yeah, they can draw like
the action sequences are great. Yeah, the character designs are great. There's a guy called Great. There's a guy who I feel like is like that. He did Egg Gear.
I knew you were gonna
Yeah, the Egg Gear
guy. What? You didn't like what is it called? 12 Devils.
Yeah, he did Egg Gear and then he did Egg Gear and Tenjo Tenge.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
12 Devils, I think that's what it's called.
Oh, I don't know 12 Devils. I only read Egg Gear and a bit of Tenjo Tenge.
You tapped out.
Which are great stories, by the way. These are great stories, by the way, but you can tell that this is not his strong suit, if that makes sense.
Okay, him.
The art is the strongest suit.
Yes, of course. He can be a bit word heavy. I'll admit that. Like
it just be what?
Word heavy, like bombastic. Okay. Right, just paragraphs for days in his speech bubbles. Okay. But it's like, yo, dude, chill, dog. This is not how anime works. Like this is not how comics work. You know what I mean? I could argue that, and some of the stuff can be convoluted. Especially the last half of Tenjo Tenge. Like this man was explaining a lot.
Tenjo just became like a long as
explanation
backstory. Yeah. Like the backstory of the anime. It's like let's say if the anime is 24 episodes long, 12 episodes is a backstory.
Yeah, at least, yes. I'll admit that. Because like, man, turns out your mom is a demon hunter that got so and so. By the way, I know you were fighting someone, but hold on, your mom's a demon fighter that was so-and-so, and she works for so-and-so, and it turns out the guy who you're fighting right now works for so-and-so, who's tied to so-and-so, whose uncle is so-and-so.
That's fine. That's typical anime. I'm talking about... Okay, so your leaders all died before the events of the series. You're going to focus on him for 12 episodes.
You took what? I feel like you watched the anime instead of reading the manga.
I watched the anime, I read the manga, but I didn't finish the manga. The manga is way better than the anime, by the way.
Yes, agreed.
No, the manga is,
yeah. I agree.
I didn't finish the manga.
Fair enough. I actually understand what you're saying. And then you get people like
this thing started from being so political to being
all over the place. I like it. I like One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a good example. Yeah, that nigga can't draw for shit. Have you seen One Punch Man's original drawings? I forgot what the guy's name is.
His pen name is One.
Yes.
His pen name is One. This is the guy who also did Mob Psycho.
Mob Psycho, yes.
Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah.
So
have a stick figure, yes.
Yeah, because he has a website where he uploads One Punch Man and he draws like a 5-year-old, right? But when Yusuke Murata basically took what he was doing and redrew that thing, then that's the One Punch Man we got.
And that's
but for some reason, for Mob Psycho, they were like, we're going to just take your style, but we're going to make it look decent at least.
Yeah, we're going to spruce it up. We're not going to completely evolve it. We're going to spruce it up. That's a perfect...
Exactly, because Mob Psycho looks like garbage, bro. Like you can tell they used his actual drawings for that show.
But they added depth to it. They used his drawings.
Of course. Like they made stuff proportionate and all of that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Another example would be one of the greatest mangas of all time, horribly drawn. And that's Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is badly drawn.
I remember when I saw the manga, like because I saw the anime. I think like first 2 episodes. I still need to watch Attack on Titan, but I saw I think like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, okay, let me go read the manga.
Mhm. It's great, dude.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, wait, is this a joke? Bro, I couldn't believe it. Like the first chapters were horrible.
Yeah. But the actual dialogue and the events happening are fantastic. But
Exactly.
the weird squiggles, what is happening, bro?
But wait, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer bad art with a good story,
Bad
or
art,
good art with a bad story?
bad art is a good story.
Yeah, same.
Bad art is a good story. Again, another one. It's not bad art, but it's simple art. It's called After School Military Activities. One of the greatest pieces of fiction I've ever read in my life, and it changed me as a writer. I cannot explain to you again. It taught me what the meaning of the word atmosphere. We've discussed film for a long time. I've told you about atmosphere before, about how it's this X factor that exists in writing. And After School Military Activities rocked my universe when it came to, because the vibes and the way they grew, evolved, and changed. Yeah. Like Attack on Titan is a knife because it cuts deep with its plot. But then when you got a slow storyline that has pure vibes that then accumulate and grow, it's almost like, I want to say Game of Thrones is more atmosphere over plot, but there's great plot. Whereas you get, again, ironically, The Apprentice to me is more plot than atmosphere. There's key event. It's a knife. It's trying to be a knife, in my opinion, as opposed to being a wave. And both have impact, by the way. Both are good. If you get them right, they're both impact.
Of course.
But when you really feel like you're in a world, Kutso, anything can happen. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Anything can happen. Whereas when you're not really in a world, but the plot is great, I almost want to say the right things must happen. It must catch you by surprise. It must catch you.
Right.
And that is tricky. Both are borderline impossible, actually. Let me just say that. Because if you get it wrong, you end up with a boring story by the atmosphere side. It's just a boring story where nothing happens. Or on the other side, it's a story we've all seen 1,000 times.
Which the latter is more often common than the former.
Yes, than the former, yes. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that artist tangent.
Anyway.
You should cut that into its own thing, actually, because I'm going to cut that into its own thing if I get the time.
Bro, there's so many things that we could cut into their own thing. That whole Nixon thing it could just be a whole clip by itself.
It really could. It really could. But I love artist talk. I can't. When we blow up, dude, that's going to be worth something. But anyway. But yeah. Anyway, let us move on. The dad who's an asshole shoves it in his face. Yeah, we discussed that. Trump. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a part I wanted to. This part stuck to me. Yeah. I was saying how the dad barely speaks. He thinks he says like 4 lines in at least the first half of the movie. The dad says so little. It's very annoying. Anyway, we end up, Trump goes to Cohen and says, what the fuck? And then Cohen says something that I thought was annoying. Because what it is movies like to wink and nod, like Deadpool, break the fourth wall. And I think this, in my opinion, was a fourth wall break. This might get where basically you thought the rules didn't apply to you. I rolled my eyes at this because I could see what they were doing here, and it's a wink and a nod. Because the dialogue, if you think about it, doesn't actually make that much sense, because Cohen has gone out of his way to prove that, yes, the rules don't apply. The line would have made more sense if he had said, you bit off more than you could chew. Kind of like Apprentice putting the master back in his place. What's the thing called? The 48 rules of power or whatever?
The 48 laws of power.
There we go. It would have made more sense if you did something similar to that. But that specific line, right, has more relevance to today, to the whole Trump trial thing, because that was a line that was said pretty often about him. No one's above the law. He thinks the rules don't apply to him. To me, that was a little wink and a nod. You can, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand people don't see it, but to me, I absolutely
No. I got the same impression when I was watching this movie, that I don't think this movie would have been made prior to Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
In this manner.
This way, yes.
Because whoever's writing it now is writing it knowing who Trump eventually turned out to be.
Yes.
Yeah. So I do understand why you're saying that you think a right winger wrote this, and how you think that some of this dialogue wouldn't have been said in real life. It's because this person is thinking about it in a specific way.
Yes.
It's like there's a bit of bias to this writing.
Exactly.
To a certain extent, yeah.
In my opinion, it's massive, but fair enough. But yeah, anyway, as if to counter the odd line he just used, he goes full Epstein and proves that yes, the rules don't apply to him because you have blackmail the Turkmen, the chairman, and then he goes full dark mode, and we go back to that flash forward, which I agree, it was a flash forward. They win the case, and we cut back. Yeah, we cut to the room full of tape recordings, and we get the wildest speech. Like this, to me, they must play this scene when they're doing the nominated for the Oscar, Jeremy Strong. It should be this scene, because oof, I felt the fire here. We get the speech where he talks about how he was a part of the the anti-communist, the House Committee, whatever it's called, the Senate House Committee, etc. About how these traitors were, what you can say, they were traitors, but they wanted to punish the husband and let the wife go. And he was like, no, they were both traitors. They both participated. So then he broke the rules on purpose, broke the law in order to make sure that the wife and the husband got in trouble, because he believes in punishing those who break America, basically. Yes. And it's whew, even with the predator bird head bobbing, he does an alarmingly great job to show his absolute conviction. Yeah. This man, like, I think No Country for Old Men is actually a really good example of like, maybe, if that guy had lived a different life in a different universe, this is the kind of person he would have been. Right. It's so good that it deserved to be, we discussed this already, it deserved to be in a better movie. P.S. The bonus anti-Semitism and jingoism in modern day, this guy would be the perfect bingo card. He really is all bad things. Like, he hates everyone. I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned Muslims yet. That's very shocking.
You're surprised that what?
Huh?
You're surprised that he did what?
He hasn't mentioned Muslims yet. But then again, it's too early for that.
Yeah, no. I think that was just gonna be like below the belt for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta wait for the Carter presidency. Then that's when you can mention Muslims.
You can do what?
Mention Muslims.
When?
The Jimmy Carter presidency, which is before Rogue Reagan, I believe. Yes, Rob.
Oh, okay.
That's when a bunch of people were kidnapped. A bunch of Americans were kidnapped in an Iran airport, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, we get a nice bright shift as Trump fills Ivana's room with flowers, but that implodes immediately as she's headed to Aspen, and we find out that she's engaged. Never meet the guy. And then, surprisingly, Trump shows up in Aspen, just in a weird suit, in a weird, like, green thing. And you can see his belly. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, jeez.
But for me, that is brilliant because, bro, like, it's hyper-realistic. Sometimes the girl that you want, you get her when you've sort of like made it in life, not when you were still young and chiseled. And it's when like life has shown you flames a bit. You're a bit older, you probably have a receding hairline, you have a belly. That's when you get the girl of your dreams. Also, when you're still young.
Also, why is someone else's girl romantic? Someone's gonna have to explain that to me.
Well, I think it's just that Trump wants what he wants, I think.
Yes, I know. But I'm just saying in general, even in The Holiday, when that chick showed up to Jack Black, he technically had a girl. The girl was trash, but he had a girl already.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a thing. People are like that, I guess.
We're selfish human beings, man. We're selfish human beings.
True. Trump made a video, not Trump, some YouTuber made a funny video about that, but how the most successful romance films, at some point the chick was someone else's girl.
Yeah.
The Notebook, The Vow, all these major movies.
Yeah. Which basically just means like you just took them from someone else.
Dog, all I'm saying is, hey, dog. So that means the romance isn't over, Moose, when you get the girl.
Bro, like most romantic movies are toxic AF, dog. Like, so you think you running towards the airport and giving me a speech is gonna change all the things that you've done for this past 2 weeks? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, dog.
Yeah.
I know fully what you mean. Cool. Give me a second. Yeah, Trump shows up for the photo shoot with his big fat belly. We get a gesture or a cringe attempt to break up the engagement, where he's like, "Up to you." Sorry, let me rephrase that. You can either see this as romantic or a cringe attempt to break up the engagement.
And it's such a bad liar.
Dog, he's such a terrible
Because
liar.
she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I think he made up some lame excuse
He
about
was like,
something.
"Oh no, Aspen is great real estate, so I'm here for real estate," and she's just looking at him like, just laughing at him like
nigga, really?
Like really, bro. And yeah, I love the fact that I just like her because she's not dumb. She at no point is she like.
I'd put her in the same category as Ellie in Karate Kid, in that they are both not dumb people. Like, they know what's going on.
But also,
even Jordan Belfort's wife in The Wolf of Wall Street. I know you want me, bruh. Like, even she was even worse because she told him, "We're not gonna be friends because I know you don't want to be my. I know you don't want to be my friend. Come on, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's just how these things are, I guess. But but it also kind of proves that she's a part of the, I don't want to say transaction, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she's actually playing her cards right, even though she's not aware that she's doing it.
She's not a victim. Let's put it like that. In my
No,
opinion.
she's not a victim. No, she's fully aware of what's happening.
Yeah. And I just think this is funny because again, the movie has shown them speaking, right? But it never shown them speaking more than a few sentences. And Trump has only ever called the supermodel beautiful. Thanks. Of course she is. She's a supermodel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing deep has been said. So I feel like it's up to you to realize, to think, okay, what is Trump actually in love with?
The idea of her, probably.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. But ironically, to counteract that, I'm going to get to that actually. Trump gets her to talk to him, take him on a date, and he lies about being able to ski, and he proves that it's lying by immediately just falling on the ice by himself. Right. And everyone dies laughing at him, which, that's painful. But in the end, they finally talk, and we finally get something that Trump can relate to. And that's that she is actually very ambitious. Yeah. Like she's got goals, she's got missions that are practical. And I was like, okay, there's a reason for them to like each other at least.
Passion, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say ambition. That's the thing they have in common. Sure. They want something more than just simple. They want.
That's what I was saying. Like, I think she wanted to. Yes, have her own fashion company or something.
Spanish fashion design. She mentioned furniture as well. So like, not just her own clothes.
Interior design, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like that's you underplaying it. Like, in my opinion, I got the impression she wants to own her own IKEA or at home, not design people's houses.
Oh, right.
Like, it's like she actually wants to own a corporation, not So anyway, the royness comes out of him, with his killer and loser speech, which I get that it's a biopic, but it would have been so much cooler if maybe Trump started unambitious. If you know what I mean? In terms of a storyline where he kind of starts simple, and then maybe Roy talks him into being ambitious, maybe. I feel like that would have made a better movie. So that way would have kind of given... Because Trump's agency in this movie is a little bit all over the place. That's another thing that frustrates me about this movie. Because a lot of the time, Trump doesn't actually have that much agency, if you think about it. And then every now and then, it'll be like, oh no, I'm doing this because it's me. And it's like, are you though? Some of your best catchphrases appear to come from someone else based on this movie.
Right.
Some of your biggest decisions appear to come from someone else based on this movie. And it's like, what are we doing? Do you get my frustration though?
Yeah.
Like, I almost wish they could have, like, if you hate the man, go even further then. That would have been...
Yeah, I mean, you already started. Might as well just go all the way.
Yeah. And that would have made a better movie, believe it or not. Because, you know what's funny is there are movies about Hitler, right? And no one, obviously, the movie maker doesn't like Hitler. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's still a better movie than some weird, like, it's a bad guy in charge. Do you know
Even
what I mean?
Jojo Rabbit, funny enough, was a great movie, even though Hitler there is portrayed from a young kid's imagination, which is, yeah, not the real depiction of who Hitler was.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I just find stuff like that frustrating. Like, I was gonna think like Valkyrie or like fuck, I'm forgetting another one. Not Inglourious Bastards, but another one. Crap, I'm bad with names. But anyway, the one that's a famous meme is also good as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Where it's like he speaks in German and he's like getting angry and he's yelling and he's in the bunker and everyone around him is like scared and like. Anyway, great movie. I just forgot what it's called. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, the Royness, and then we get a little bit of Ivana. She's a pretty fun character. You can tell she like the actor and the character are just. They're so well done because they're like absorbing Trump's craziness very well and they're flowing with it. It's like they're surfing a wave. Trump is the wave and they're surfing it.
Right.
Anyway, we're now 55 minutes in and we kind of, at this point, we're near the halfway point. We get our Trump high. Trump has got the girl, he's got the building. We even meet Roger Stone. And there's a major cameo. Technically that's a small but major cameo. And a little bit of a fuck you to Roger Stone because they even call him underhanded in the clip, which is fun. Because later, well, in real life, I haven't watched the second half of the movie. You can tell me if Roger Stone comes back. But it turns out Roger Stone ends up being one of his top go-to men, to the point where he even went to jail for something that was in reality kind of silly because he went to jail for threatening someone. And he was like on a thing and he was like, I'm going to kill your dog if you don't do this. Right. And he was like clearly being exaggerated. He was exaggerating and they were like, the police were like, that's good enough for me. And he went to jail and he had to be pardoned by Trump. It was the whole thing. It was fascinating. Anyway, so it was interesting to see him there show up for like 2 seconds. Anyway, Trump comes to the pool and he's like, I'm so excited. I'm getting married. And Roy gets pissed off. And I was like, ooh, is this like the seductress meeting an opponent and like that? But then Roy's like, don't worry, I'm going to protect you because a marriage is a contract like any of the other contracts.
Yeah, spoken like a real lawyer.
Yes. Yep. But then we cut to Ivana, right?
Ivana, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because it's so funny that the two wives have the very similar names.
Yeah, dude, that made no sense to me because after watching this movie, I started researching. I'm like, oh, it's nice that it's still with Ivana. Then when I Googled Ivanka, I saw she was very young. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Then when I Googled it, I'm like, oh, that was the first wife. Oh, okay.
Like, what are the chances, like, that you got? What are the chances, like, do you have a type? Anyway, he's happy. We cut to reading the prenup, which has her pissed off the more she reads. There's an offer for $20,000 a year. Then she laughs because there's a clause about giving back all the gifts. And then pissed off, she bounces. Roy then warns him before letting him give chase. There's a subtle gesture, but to me, that says a lot about the movie. Where he's like, yeah, go, like, I think he says, buyer beware. And he like waves Trump along and then Trump goes. I'm like, that didn't have to happen, but it's whatever. It's like, again, does Trump have agency or does he not have agency? But anyway, we cut to outside, and this is actually a pretty cool scene where she's calling a cab. Trump then tries, like an idiot, like, nigga, you were in love a moment ago. Why are you trying to negotiate? Is this the art of the deal now? She tries to negotiate. It is funny because he had not thought of it like a business deal before talking to Roy, but now he can only think of it as a business deal. And she isn't paying attention to any of it. At least until he returns to the way he was thinking before. And he talks about love, children, and going all together. And then she starts to pay attention.
Yeah.
To me, I have this pet peeve when it comes to movies. And in fact, I have a pet peeve about my own writing when it comes to this. And that's when movies forget to explain why characters like each other. And that's its own story. Like, I think they did an okay job here because you can technically say there's the thread of ambition. If you think about them both being ambition, then you can say, okay, there's a reason for them to love each other. Other than that, there's no real reason for them to love each other. Like, why does she like him? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay, she's hot.
If every man asks themselves why their women love them, trust me, most people don't have answers. Unless if they're extremely good looking, maybe they will look at it from a shallow perspective and think it's because of their looks. But for the most part, we don't know why women love us because we're the ones that approach them, right?
That is true.
So,
But they're the ones who stay. So that's
exactly. Why are they staying? Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the point is there's she accepts, and it's kind of like this vibe of, yeah, that's more like it. Now you're acting right. Which makes me wonder if this is a revelation she was waiting for, or a level of control she has over him. In a good movie,
it could be both.
Yeah, you'd say it was a revelation. It would give him more agency to his own story.
But I guess also she could have been easily offended because, like we mentioned before, she's overly ambitious, so she didn't need his money.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that this whole prenup thing now is being introduced to someone who wasn't even there for the money to begin with is in bad taste.
According to her. As well as an insult to a supermodel.
Yeah, which is something that Roy didn't. I mean, it's something that Roy didn't consider because he doesn't know her that much.
Yeah, he doesn't know at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hyper realistic from that angle.
Yeah. But yeah, more agency, which Trump has less than you'd think of in this movie. One key aspect to a good biopic, in my opinion, is agency. But he has won the deal. He got the deal in the end, and we get this great match cut of them kissing on the car park. I mean, in front of the cab. Then it cuts to the wedding, and this is the peak of the Donald Trump joy. We've reached the midpoint high, which, by the way, shares. He shares this with the following movies: The Blowout, Ronin, Citizen Kane, Die Hard, The Holiday, The Mummy, City of God, at least the Benny and Zay part, and then Karate Kid, and then The Apprentice. And now, in other words, the middle of the movie is the highest point. It's them at their happiest. Midpoint high.
Okay.
Discuss this. Remember, we used to discuss this every single week.
Not for Roy, but for Trump and Ivana, yes.
Yes, for Trump and Ivana, yes.
Because this does nothing for her. Like, this does nothing for her.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, just so you guys get an idea of movies that had a midpoint low that we've discussed already, that would be Bridget Jones, Basic, Avengers 1, and The Lion King. Those all had midpoint lows.
Yeah. I mean, this is where Simba runs away from Pride Rock. Yeah, makes sense. What else did you mention?
It's when Loki gets away. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, that's when Loki kills Coulson. I think that's about the halfway point. And then Basic is when I think the other guy dies and we don't know what the answer is yet. We don't know what the problem is. If I remember correctly, in Basic.
That's what Giancarlo. No, not Giancarlo. What's that guy's name again? Giovanni something.
Yes, and the jazz singer as well, Henry Connick Jr. John Travolta, Henry Connick Jr. Not Tyrese. What's that nigga's name? Not Neo. Oh crap! What's his name?
You're talking about
Not Tyrese and Neo. Guy in between the two. There, two people.
Best Man, right?
Yeah, Best Man.
Tay Diggs.
Did we both say Tay Diggs right
now?
Yeah,
we both said it at the same time.
Tay Diggs. I think it's Tay Diggs, yes. Samuel L. Jackson. Who was the white woman?
Who's the what?
The white woman. The main second.
It's Wonder Woman's mom. I forgot her name.
Yes, Wonder Woman's mom, yes. I feel bad about that.
Yeah, and Superman was there.
Yes. Huh?
Yeah, Superman. The guy who voices Superman. What's his name again?
Crap! I need to look this up now.
The Superman, the animated series.
Okay, now you're making me feel less bad. Is it doing Brand Van Holt? But Giovanni Ripsi, his character dies.
Who?
Tim Daly?
Tim Daly, yeah. That's him.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
The
Styles.
villain of the movie.
Yes, main bad guy, yes. Rosalind Sanchez.
Yeah.
Still a movie I still consider to be fire. I don't understand why it just didn't blow up the way it should have. But I feel like we gave it justice. Shout out to our review. Please watch
Guys, if I were you, I would watch from Batman Begins. Just watch the movies that we've done from Batman Begins. I think you'll probably enjoy everything that we've done so far.
Yeah, I think so too. But anyway, that's enough distractions. We all have to go to work eventually, and we're basically done. So yeah, anyway, he won the deal, and they sealed the kiss, and they sealed the kiss. And then we achieved, midpoint high. Trump has his dream building. It's under construction. He's on the cover of magazines. He has his dream wife, and as his best friend, he has Roy. We will see what can change or how this bubble can burst.
And his wife is also involved, right?
Yes, in a big way.
Heavily involved.
Yeah. And we'll see how this bubble will burst next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh
my gosh. But yeah, that's the first hour.
Yeah, guys, that is The Apprentice first hour. As Rob has mentioned, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, as I've mentioned before. I think you guys can tell. And Rob does likes some of the parts of this movie, but doesn't really like it as much.
Terrible. Nothing is pure hell, in my opinion. Even a bad thing can have good parts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. We do know that he's currently the head of state, but I mean, we spoke about this thing before the election. It's just that it came out. It's just convenient that we discussed it post. So
yeah.
It's not clickbait. We really wanted to do this movie a while back.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's the thing about this format. We usually delay it for a very long time. Like Karate Kid, we delayed it for like 2 months.
That took a long ass time, but I'm excited to finish it. Excited to finish it.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, we shall see you guys on the next one because we're going to be discussing the rest of the movie. But also do remember that we do something called weekly pick, which is basically just a summary of a movie that Rob and I have watched. And let us know your thoughts on anything that we post. We thoroughly would appreciate your feedback. It will mean a lot to us. But anyway, from myself, Mr. Extrodin, and from Rob Sibeko, we shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Mama.